Good morning, yogis. Happy weekend. I'm going to do a core class that was requested by one of my friends. And so, Veronique, this is for you. It's going to be, I'm going to include some hips, strengthening and stretching. And then we're going to work the core in as we do the routine. And then at the end, we'll do some special core activities. All right, so thanks for joining me. We'll go for about 20 minutes to a half hour. So it'll be a shorter class, but we'll get some really good benefits with hips and core. Awesome, all right. So let's come and meet on our mats. Just sitting down on the mat and grounding down, letting your energy settle. Just letting your thoughts come into stillness. Just respecting the practice and the mat and just giving it your attention and focus for the next 20 minutes, half hour, so that you can get all of the benefits that it is meant to bring you. If we're just going through the motions and kind of doing the poses, but we're off in some other world, either in some story we're thinking about, or what happened last night or today at work, or any other kind of past or future types of thoughts, then we aren't really getting the benefits of all of the work because we're off in a different space. So while you're on the mat here, just come into your body and feel what your body feels like. So feel your shoulders. Are they relaxed or are they tense? You don't have to change anything. Just feel and be aware of what's going on for you in your body. So let's feel into our hips because that's the area we're going to work on today. And let's feel into our abs or our core as well. So just feeling into your hips and feeling what they are telling you. Mine are telling me that they're really tight and they need some work. And then as you're feeling into your core, just engage your core muscles and feel how that kind of lifts you up into more of a stronger and straighter position. So our core is doing so much work for us all the time, and we want to give it some love and just strengthen it so that it can continue to do all the work for us. So with your core engaged and just feeling into your hips, we're just going to do a really nice stretch forward. And so just coming to the front of yourself, coming down on your hands, in front, and just coming down, walking your hands out, and feeling that stretch in your lower back and your hips. And then moving over to the right, feeling the stretch in the right side now. And then over to the left. So we're going to come now more into a rainbow kind of motion. So we're going to bring our right hand up, touching down to the right, and then following with our left. So you're stretching up, and then you're stretching over. Good. Coming up with your right hand, following with your left, and then touching down with right, and touching down with the left. Just in a nice fluid motion like this to wake the body up. Stretching through your waist and your side, and then slightly through the hips as well. Good. When that's all done, come back up to center. And we're just going to get to move up onto our hands and knees. So in a tabletop position here, I'll just have to practice on the back of my mat because Gardaki is using the whole front half. And of course I would never want to interrupt him or move him. Oh, I guess you heard me. All right, so let's just open up our hips a little bit more so that we can focus on those today. I also want you to think of your core in this position. And so bringing your belly button in towards your back, or just activating that core while you're in this position, and keeping it active as we do some hip circles. So let's start with the right. So bringing the right leg up, and to the front. Okay, your circles might be small at first, depending on when you're doing this. This is my first practice of the day. So it's a little stiff. Again, making sure your core is turned on while you're circling, making big circles with your hips, just to get some release there. Change directions. Keeping your front body and your arms and your shoulders stable. Good, one more circle back. Setting that down and then going to the other side. Reminding yourself to turn on your abs. So you're lifting your belly button and you're kind of pulling it back into your lower spine. All right, let's do the other side. Nice big circles with the knee. Good. You might feel some crunching. I know I do. This hip is very cracky and crunchy. And then reverse the circles. When you're done that, come back to a tabletop pose. We're going to do kind of a circular motion where we're just stretching out our hips. So pushing your hips to the right and then circling back. You almost come into child's pose. And then to the left and forward. So just doing big, big, big juicy circles with your hips and pelvis. Inhaling when you come up front and exhaling as you sit or circle back. Good, reverse the direction now. Excellent. Feeling your joints opening up. Getting some mobility in there. All right. Okay, good. Coming back to hands and knees. So we're going to do a core kind of stability exercise next. Staying in tabletop pose and taking so engage your core again, pulling it in and up, activating those muscles, and then keep taking your left foot and pushing it back as if you're pushing against a wall. And then if it's available to you, bringing your right hand and reaching it forward. So the left hip is parallel to the floor, and you're trying to get your lower back as straight as possible. So almost so that you could set a teacup on there. So make sure there's not a curve in the spine, but that you're tucking your tailbone as well. And breathing here. One more breath. Bringing that down, and then moving to the other side. So pushing your right foot back, straight, strong leg. Right hip is facing down, so it's not coming open like that. It's facing down. Good. And then when you have your balance, your core is tucked and tight. Bringing up your left hand and reaching to the front of the room with your left hand. So reaching to the front of the room with the hand and to the back of the room with the heel. Breathing here. You might feel some shaking. I do. making sure your spine is strong and straight with a flat back. One more breath here. And then lowering down. Good. All right. Let's just come up for a second. We're just going to do a little heart opening and toes and heels opening. Just after kind of being forward like that for a while, you want to do something to counteract it. So sitting on your heels with your toes spread and stretched on the mat. Taking your hands to your hips. Just push your chest open, heart open, throat open. You're in a really easy, just easy chill back bend here. Breathing here, opening your heart up. You can also clasp your hands behind your back. Just make sure your lower back isn't suffering at all. If your core is tight and your tailbone is tucked, you shouldn't have any pain in your lower back during this back bend. Good. Opening up through your throat and your heart. Opening those areas of communication and compassion and love for yourself especially. Good. And coming out of that, we're just going to go back into child's pose now for a moment. I'll do a wide-legged one, but you can do whatever you like. With the wide-legged one, your toes are touching and your knees are wide apart. And then just sitting back into your hips, stretching back. And you can reach forward with your hands while stretching back with your lower back and just feeling the pull in the opposite direction. Breathing here. Good, now come on up. We're going to go into a plank pose. So we're going to start getting right into the abs now. We've worked at kind of turning them on and making them work for us in these other poses. Now we're just going to try to target them a little bit more. So coming into plank, you can start on tabletop. So hands under shoulders. I have my hands in a fist position. It's just to protect my wrists. So you can do that if you want, or you can just have your hands down like this. And then bring your feet back into plank pose. So what we want is shoulders over wrists, tucking your tail, and engaging your core. Inhale and exhale here. We're going to do 3 more breaths. 2, 3. We're going to change it to a side plank now on your left. So leaving your hand where it is and rolling onto the side of your left foot, stacking your right foot on top of your left, or just putting it on the mat, opening up into a side plank. You can feel your obliques working here. You might be shaking. Back into regular plank, and then side plank on the right. So leaving your right hand where it is, putting your right side of your foot on the ground, and then opening your left hand to the sky, feeling those obliques doing their work. Coming back into regular plank now, and then we're just going to lower the knees and come on down to your belly. Inhale into baby cobra. Exhale down onto your belly. Nose touches the mat, forehead on the mat. Inhale. So tuck your tail and turn your core on here. And then inhale, baby cobra. This will protect your back. Exhale, nose to mat. Inhale, heart opening, stretching the front of your body. Exhale, nose to mat. Good. Now engaging the core, coming back into our first downward dog. And of course you can get there from your knees, which is very nice and really just a nice way to get there. So once you're in your downward dog, you can wiggle around and just moving your hands a little bit if they need adjusting, moving your hips a bit. Your fingers should be spread wide, pressing into your palms, bringing the insides of your arms or your creases to the front, and then relaxing your head and neck. My knees, of course, are bent and will forevermore be. This is a wonderful pose here for so many different reasons. Then on your inhale, you can start to walk to the front of your mat with a couple steps and into your flat back or half lift. So your core is engaged here, your back's engaged, and then exhale, folding forward, and inhale, coming on up. Hands to heart, Anjali Mudra, and then into Tadasana at the top of your mat. Just take a couple breaths here. Good. So on the inhale, bring your right foot to the back of the mat, going into Warrior One. Your toes are pointing slightly forward in the back, and then the front toes are pointing forward with your knee over your ankle. When you're situated in your legs, then you can bring your arms up to the sky. And take 2 breaths here. Good. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, opening into Warrior Two. So in your Warrior Two, you're facing the side of the room, the side of the mat. Back foot's at a 90-degree angle. Front knee is over your ankle. Inhale. Exhale, sink even lower. Good. Inhale. And sink even lower. Good. Now on the next inhale, we're going to bring our hands up into a high lunge. So facing forward, your body's facing forward, your back foot moved to face forward. Feeling the strength in your legs, the lightness in your arms and your shoulders. Good. On the exhale, come on down and step back into a plank. Hold here for 2 breaths. Good. And then on your next breath, walk your feet to the front of your mat. I didn't do that very gracefully. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, come on up. Reaching up, and exhale, hands to heart. Good, and into Tadasana. I'm gonna come to the other side. And then taking your left foot, and swinging it, right to the back of the mat. We're going into a Warrior One on the other side now. So back foot is not at a 90-degree angle, but more, your foot is pointing forward a little bit more. So you can get that rotation in your hips facing forward. So that back foot is
rotation. And if it was 90 degrees, like in Warrior 2, you wouldn't be able to get the hip rotation to the front. Good, so rotating your hips and your shoulders forward. And then if you would like on your in-breath, just floating arms up to the sky. Feeling that stretch in your left groin and hip, as well as the strength and the opening in the right as well. So one more breath here. Then on your inhale, reaching up, and on your exhale, opening into Warrior 2. So see how I just opened up and my hips and my chest are now facing to the side of the mat instead of the front. 2 breaths here. On the in-breath, float your body up a little, and then exhale, settling down into the pose, getting even deeper into that right hip. In-breath, coming up a bit, and then exhale, settling in deeper. Good, and on the next inhale, we're working our way over into a high lunge, facing forward. Good. On your exhale, come on down, place your hands onto the mat, and coming into plank. So in plank, we are working our core and a lot of other things too. So as you breathe, feeling this in your core, as you feel your core starting to shake, keep breathing. Good, and then down onto your knees and sitting back into a child's pose. Just resting here for a moment. Good. So coming on up, we're going to stay seated on our mat now. So bringing your feet out in front of you, we're going to go into a boat. So this will really target your core. We're going to do a regular boat first, and then we're going to do something special after that. So first of all, just sitting with your back straight. Your chest is lifted, shoulders are relaxed. Bringing your hands back behind your thighs. Again, making sure your heart is lifted. And when you're ready, so turn on your core. So tightening and strengthening your core demands that you first engage it. Because else when you lift up like this, if your core is not engaged, a bunch of other muscles will start to work, like the hip flexors and maybe the shoulders, right? So engaging your core first, and then lifting one foot at a time into your boat. Making sure your chest is lifted. You're not rounding in your back. Breathe here. 3 breaths. 3, 2. If you want, you can bring your hands to the side. And 1. Good. Now come into a cross-legged position. Take your hands on either side and lift your butt up for a minute. Good, if you can. If not, just lift up like this or however you can. So back into boat for another round. I know you know how to get there. Remember turning on your core before you do anything else. And popping up into boat. Good. You can straighten your legs. I can't. If you can, go for it. Good. Stay like that. I'm going to come down for a bit because my hip flexors are working overtime there. Stay in boat for 3. Good. You're shaking. Breathing. 2. One, and come on down. Crossing your legs, and then lifting up. I can only do it for a real quick second. Good. All right. So there's a special boat we're gonna do next. I don't know if this is actually a yoga pose or if this is like Pilates or I don't know. So bringing your legs up in front of you again. We're going to, so you can lift your feet up into the boat and then go from there. I'm just gonna keep mine down on the mat right now. So engaging your core, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to rotate our upper body to the left and then to the right. So what you're doing is you're working your obliques. So you might look like this. Ugh, my back's a little sore today, so I won't be able to look like that. Or you will look like this. So feeling those obliques working, keeping your spine nice and straight, going back and forth. Keep doing that. Three more. 3, 2, 1. Good. You can lower down to your back. All right. Do a nice, big, long stretch through your arms and your feet. Just stretching out your abs and your obliques. Good. Okay, I'm just gonna check to make sure the camera's still running. Good. Okay, we're almost at a half hour, so we're gonna do one more exercise for our abs and core, and we'll just go into some more relaxing poses on the ground. So for this one, this is a classic bicycle actually. So what you're gonna do is feet on ground. I like to do it with my hands on the back of my neck so that my neck doesn't get sore, right? So you're bringing your upper body up, engaging your core, and then your knees come at a 90-degree angle. And so you're going to then straighten your right leg out and bring your right elbow to your left knee, and then the opposite on the other side. So right leg is straight, and then right elbow to left knee. Good. So we'll do 10 of these, okay? So 1, 2, 3. Just slow and steady, okay? We're really using those abs. That's 5. If you want, you can come down for a little rest. I'm going to. Just for a second. And then go ahead and lift back up for the next 5. 1. So core is tight, pelvis is tucked. And you're just straightening and twisting. 4 and 5. Good, come on down. Oh, awesome. Just do a few windshield wipers with your legs now to release any tension you are holding in your lower back. And sometimes we put our lower back to work with those. Good, and then let's bring the right knee into the chest while straightening the left leg. I'm just rocking the knee back and forth a little bit there. Just giving our hips a little bit of love at the end here. They did a lot of work for us. And then taking that right knee and then rolling it over to the left while your right hand comes out to the right. It's a really nice twist to bring our nervous system back down and to slow the practice down. Twists are so good for detoxing, digestion, spine health. And I usually do twist every yoga session, at least one twist. And I love the supine one, it's so relaxing. Good, bringing that right knee back up. And then setting the right foot on the mat. I do the same on the other side, so bringing in the left knee and straightening out the right leg. Just pulling that knee in, moving it around a bit. Making sure your shoulders are relaxed though. And then bringing that left knee over to the right side in an easy supine twist. Left hand reaching to the left. Feeling a nice stretch on the side body. Breathing here. And letting that go. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Good. Now we're going to just go into Shavasana. So, just feeling every part of your body relaxing on the mat. Letting your feet flop out to the side. Your hands flop out to either side. Big breath in. Let all of that go, all the work you just did. Close your eyes. Just letting your body relax now. Maybe feeling into your core and just feeling the after effects of doing all that work. Just letting everything go now. Take a minute here for all the work to soak in. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes gently, moving your body around a bit and coming up into seated. And thanking yourself for all the work you just did. This core workout can be done once a week so that you can start to kind of feel some results. If you want to integrate it into your schedule of yoga classes. So it's definitely a practice you can do over and over to slowly strengthen those core muscles. And of course, a lot of other muscles too. So like in plank and side plank, you can probably feel your shoulders working really hard for you. So you get that benefit of this full body strengthening. Good, so thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you liked it, Veronique. Send me a message, let me know what was good for you or what was difficult, and how your core is feeling tomorrow or even later tonight. All right, namaste.